Hello, 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 chat. Hello. Please ignore my sniffles. I have a bit of a cold I am getting over. Today we'll be doing lots of Trials of Sekhemas. I saw the Temporalis build that Imperium was playing, and it looked amazing. The unfortunate fact of the matter is Temporalis is, what is it up to now? Let's check. Last time I checked, it was 2 mirrors. So how is it at right now? It's at 3 mirrors now. Fantastic, it went up. So I wanted to make this build without Temporalis. So I looked around and I tried to make an Autobomber build that focuses on Choir of the Storm. So what happens is when you crit, your Lightning Bolt skill triggers on critical hit. So Lightning Bolt hits the mob when you crit, and then on top of this, what we have in our build as well is on Lightning Bolt, I have Mana Flare. The Mana Flare states that it'll trigger Mana Flare on critical hit. Now, Mana Flare is its ability consumes 25% of our current mana to deal that much fire damage. We don't really stack mana that much. So what we're really focusing on is the Lightning Bolt hits on a critical hit, and then if the Lightning Bolt itself is a critical hit, it will trigger Mana Flare, and then Mana Flare, if it crit hits, it will trigger Lightning Bolt. And what you have is an auto bomber that goes back and forth between Lightning Bolt and Mana Flare. Now, the way you need this to work though is every hit must be a critical hit. And the way we do this is with our Oracle. Now, Oracle is the new Druid ascendancy that has a passive that says inevitable critical hits. So what this says is if I hit something and I don't crit, it's going to roll again. And if I don't hit again, it's going to roll again. And if I don't hit again, crit hit again, it's going to roll again, and it's going to roll again, and it's going to roll again, and it's going to roll until we crit. Now, every time it does re-roll, we lose 30% less critical damage bonus. It's not great if you have less critical hits because you're not going to get that crit damage, but it's really good for our build because it does proc Lightning Bolt and Mana Flare. So when we're attacking, we're doing back and forth. We're going Lightning Bolt, Mana Flare, and Lightning Bolt, Mana Flare. Now, the crux of our build, though, the thing that really stops us is that we need cooldown recovery in order for each skill to be off cooldown when the other one hits. Now, the magic number that you want to hit with your cooldown recovery on this is going to be 151. So what we're looking for is cooldown recovery on the tree, on your gear. We're looking for it everywhere. So where we have it in our tree is we have it here on Oracle. Now, one of the other Oracle things that we can get is the Paths Not Taken. Paths Not Taken are these passive skills that you see on the tree that are connected with like the purple lines. These are the special nodes that we get if we take this ascendancy node. So Paths Not Taken states that you get to allocate these imaginary nodes or these nodes that no other passive ascendancy gets. So in this, we get this node right here, which gets that 6%, another 6% here, and then a 14% right here. So this is a good node for cooldown recovery. We also come up here and we get these two nodes. You have 5% here and you have 16% here. So that's another good, really useful node. And then here's another node right here. You get 10%. Now, what we also have is allocated on our anointment on our Choir of the Storm is multitasking. Multitasking also gives us another 12%. So that's going to put us at 69%. Nice. Now on our gear itself, we have a 3 socketable focus that we put the Owl Idol in. So this gives us overall 30% cooldown recovery. So now we're at 99%. We also have in our Darkness and Throne, we have 90% increased effective socketed items, and it treats it as if it was a helmet. So in here we have the Soul Core of Flow. Puddles. I don't know how to say that correctly, but this gives us 8%, and because we have it in Darkness and Throne, it gives us 15%. You could also put it in your helmet, but just gives us a little bit more cooldown recovery for putting it here. And then another thing we're getting here is 29% on this Sands of Silk. Sands of Silk is really nice too because it gives us blink. You don't have to spend spirit to get blink. We're also getting it on the passive itself. So Lightning Bolt, we make sure we have cooldown recovery too. Here's another 30%. So now we're at like 140 something percent. I also have on the tree itself this Time Moss Emerald. You get 3% cooldown recovery rate for notable passive skills. And I have this right here. So there's 3 and 6%. Here is the total amount of CDR I have. So that's 150. Now this is actually what I'm doing here is I was playing around with my build earlier. I need 1% more, but I can remove this actually, and I can go with a nice chess piece. And I can give myself some more defenses. This actually gives me a lot more defenses and gives me more spirit to play around with. But for running the Trial of Sekhemas, which I'm doing right now to hopefully get a Temporalis, or at least the relic dropped at least, I'm running with Sands of Silk because I don't really need that much defense when I'm running Trial, because you get that in the idols, you get that in the roguelite features of the Trial itself. So I don't really need to worry about that. I'm more here for damage. So cooldown recovery helps our damage. Let's go to our gems. So it's really easy. We have in blink, we have rapid casting, we have cooldown recovery, and we have mobility. So now we have lightning bolt from our Choir of the Storm. I need to buy a level 20 lightning bolt. If I had a level 20 lightning bolt, I would have another socket. But in our sockets, we have Mana Flare, which is critical for the Autobomber aspect. Then we have cooldown recovery, like I said before, so it gives us a 30% increased cooldown recovery rate. Next, we have Concentrated Area for more damage, and we have Deliberation for more damage. My last slot here would actually be Spell Cascade. That's really helpful for clear. Next, we have Spark. Spark is our starter. This is how we get our Autobomber started. And really what we need for Spark is we just need a lot of Spark. We need to get it out there. We need to get it hitting guys so that they get crit and they start the lightning bolt auto bomb sequence. So on Spark, we have Pierce. We have Life Tap, just because when you're auto bombing, you're gonna see your mana is not, you don't have a lot of mana to play with. So all of our other skills actually Life Tap. If you notice, we have Life Tap on all of them because we don't have a lot of mana to work with when we're auto bombing. Next, we have Efficiency. This just helps Spark not cost a lot of life. And then rapid casting. We want to get as many projectiles out there hitting guys as we can. Next, we have two curses. We have Elemental Weakness with Focus Curse, Rapid Casting, Heightened Curse, and Life Tap. And then Temporal Chains with Magnified Area, Rapid Casting, and Life Tap. Quick addendum. We actually don't want to use Elemental Weakness because we use Blackflame Covenant. This translates, or transfers, I should say, our fire damage over into chaos damage. And elemental resistances are only good for elemental damage, which would be cold, fire, and lightning. This isn't good for chaos. So because we transfer our fire damage into chaos damage, this isn't good for our fire damage. This isn't good for our lightning damage because of Choir of the Storm. Choir of the Storm doesn't care about lightning resistance, so we don't have to care about lightning resistance. So we actually don't want to use elemental weakness. What we're going to be doing is translating this into despair. We're using the same supports. We're just getting rid of elemental weakness and using despair. An additional skill we have down here is Trinity. We're using Trinity to help us scale our damage even more, getting fire and lightning up to their caps. Now, because we're hitting back and forth with Mana Flare and Lightning Bolt, they're capping fairly quickly and they're staying capped. We're getting about 17% more damage on both. So this gem is giving us a more multiplier on top of our abilities as well. See, now the Oracle Ascendancy has Entwined Realities. Now what this means is when you get a keystone passive, you can allocate skills within this little circle it has. See these circles? It's because I have these keystones. Now, a lot of these keystones that we get are beneficial to our build. Some don't do anything, like Elemental Equilibrium does nothing for us. We don't use infusions. It's just there so that we can hit this node right here without going too deep into the tree. We also have Mind Over Matter. Mind Over Matter is actually great for us for defenses because we have low life and ES pool. Adding mana on top of that, it's just great for our overall EHP. We also go Wild Surge Incantation. We don't really use any Storm and Plant skills. It would be cool. I was thinking about how to implement maybe Entangle into the build, but maybe use Entangle instead of Spark would be interesting. But we're not using Storm and Plant spells. Over here we have Blackflame Covenant. Now this is just going to change our Mana Flare into a Chaos spell rather than a Fire spell. And that's really all that does for us. And then we have Whispers of Doom over here. This is what allows us to use 2 curses. This helps with mana issues if you have a little bit of mana issues. So this flask is always working. So I'm constantly getting 53 mana every 2 seconds. We're getting damage over here from crit chance and crit bonus. Now the way it works is because your lightning bolt and your mana flare re-roll every time they hit to make sure you get that crit, you're losing damage every time they re-roll. So you want to crit more often. So right now my crit chance with lightning bolt is going to be 41%. So hopefully it only rolls twice, 3 times maybe to get that crit in. So we're only going to lose like 60% of our crit damage bonus. Our crit damage bonus is 270. So we'll hit 200% more damage multiplier off of our crit. If I get my crit chance higher, maybe it rerolls less and I keep more of this. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to stack our crit bonus as well as our crit chance to keep more of our crit bonus, so it doesn't reroll every time we attack. So we're going for crit chance here. This is a lot of crit chance. We're going for crit chance here, and we're going for crit bonus here. This helps a lot. Over here, I have a controlled metamorphosis with medium ring. This allows us to hit some 30% increased damage for me. This gives me a 10% chance to gain critical or arcane surge when I do a critical strike. I'm always crit striking, so a 10% chance is amazing. I don't need anything really more than that. I come over here to give myself an additional effect of arcane surge, because arcane surge is always on me, so I get that mana recovery as well as cast speed. That helps a lot too. Over here I get my crit damage bonus. This helps with our damage. Down here in the Wild Surge Incantation Circle, I'm going to take this Intense Flames. This gives us a little bit more damage. In Mind Over Matter, this is our defense. We also have Calibration, which gives us more energy shield. I need to get another level. This is my next level right here. And then I also take cast speed, dealt a crit hit recently. I'm always dealing crit hits. It reduces my crit hit chance, but I'll take that because I want the cast speed. Over here I have Elemental Ailments and Magnitude. Because I am critting, they're always shocked, they're always ignited. If I could get some cold damage in here, I could probably freeze them as well. That may be something I want to move into in the future. I still need some work on my gear. So over here we have increased elemental damage if I've dealt critical hit recently. Always critting, it's always nice. And this crit hit chance kind of offsets this reduced crit hit. So kind of evens out here. You get a little 5% more. Over here I have, like I said, the increased effect of arcane surge. Over here I take this mostly for the cooldown recovery. I need that, as well as the energy shield from the equip focus helps a lot with defenses. This also helps damage if I get cursed. Sometimes I roll curses on maps, or I get cursed by an enemy. That just helps my damage. Over here we have crit hit chance for spells, crit spell damage bonus, and then again with the magnitude of damaging elements. So my shock magnitude again is going up higher. We love that. Over here I get more energy shield. I can take this too. These will probably be future levels for me. Our cooldown recovery, like I said, this is also a great node to have. It's just straight up damage, 12%, 20%, and then 30% for fire, cold, lightning, chaos, and physical. I believe I get to take advantage of lightning and chaos. Over here I'm taking gain 15% extra lightning damage while on shock ground. Reduce effective shock on you. Great, we love that. 20% increased damage per elemental ailment. Like I said, we're critting all the time, so we're putting a lot of those ailments on these enemies. It's fantastic. Over here, we have energy shield recharge rate and mana regeneration rate. These are great. This is an amazing node to have. Over here, we have damage penetrates. We don't really care about that. Our Choir of the Storm says that crit hits ignore enemies' lightning resistance. We're always critting, so we're always ignoring. I don't really care about this penetration. I do like the 6% elemental damage as extra lightning damage, so that's great. It's extra damage. I could take this too. This helps shock duration and magnitude of shock. Just helps us do more damage. Over here we're taking these nodes for more energy shield. We're also taking this node for more mana. A little bit worse for mana cost of skills, but I'm just doing this to kind of scale our damage of mana flare just a little bit. Helps a little bit. Doesn't do much, but you know what, it's like 3% increased damage. I'll take it. Over here we do crit hit chance, and then finally for our last little node cluster, we have cooldown recovery and skill effect duration. Now I also have this jewel, I should say, which is great. All of this, I have recover mana on kill, more crit hit chance, energy shield from my equipped focus. We love that. Triggered spells deal increased spell damage. We love that too. Would love another jewel like this. I believe green jewels have cooldown recovery, so if you need a little bit more cooldown recovery, you can come down here and grab this socket and do that. So green jewels have this line right here is cooldown recovery rate. So if you need a little bit of help, you can get this on some more jewels. If you need to hit that 151 number that we're looking for, you can go with green jewels. Running Trials of Sekhemas, as you can see from this tab, this is just a couple runs. Great open royal chests that'll get you a lot of jewels to work with. We love that. All right, so now that we've run through the build tonight, we are going to be running the trial, trying to find the one and get drops Temporalis. I would love it. If not, we're also just farming for money to buy Temporalis, trying to make it into that build. But the nice thing is, because we don't have Temporalis and we've done our build. A lot of this is kind of cheaper than I thought. My build, I've kind of spent a lot of money, but when I first started and I got the Autobomber to work, you can do it for under 10 div. The nice thing about having cooldown recovery actually is blink. We blink. We have as many blinks as we want. Actually, it's 3 uses. We have 3 uses. So with the cooldown recovery we have to get our Autobomber working, we actually help our blink, keep our blink, what's the word I'm looking for? Always in stock, so you can constantly blink. It's amazing. Oh, no. That's what happens when you run. Damn it. That's what happens when you hold spacebar just a little too long on your blink.